Yes and no. 30 feet from me. I'm sorry? Say it again? Can you just do a quick mic check for it?
Check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
How's that, guys? Yep. I'll try and talk quietly. Okay. I'm going to put my phone in my pocket again like last time. Bonnie, one more time. I'm sorry.
Check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Checking levels. Good? Awesome.
How's that, guys? Okay, you guys ready?
What? It's going all day. Trying to cover everyone.
You guys ready? You guys ready?
He's your boy. You should go work that.
Oh, wait, I got to turn my...
I already see you. She's going to work now.
I'll switch earpiece. You guys switch earpiece. I'm sorry, say it again?
Foxsports.com.
Okay, got it. Same with... Yeah. Just let me know that I'm in the shot and I'm good.
I know.
All right, so we're going to go live in about 20 seconds probably.
Awesome.
They're going to count me down.
Live. You are looking live.
From New York. Live from Indianapolis. All right. Am I in the shot? Am I in the shot, guys? Cool. Spraying perfectly.
Bradshaw practice today?
I'm sorry?
Bradshaw practice today?
I don't know. That's a good question. Hi, I'm Michael Artsis for NewYorkPost.com here live in Indianapolis at the Super Bowl 46. This is the Media Center, Radio Row. We ran into Bonnie Bernstein.
Hello.
You know her from CBS and all sorts of other broadcasting.
Yes,
you have such an interesting career because when you started, there really weren't that many women doing it yet. And when you started in Nevada, you were the first female sports reporter in Nevada and in Reno when you were in Reno, Nevada. What was that like? I can't even imagine going through that.
They really embraced it. Reno, Nevada is not obviously the biggest sports market in the world, but they've got a university there. They follow all of the Bay Area sports. They initially brought me on as a general assignment reporter, but I had told the news director point blank I wanted to get into sports full time. So when they decided not to renew the contract of their main sports anchor, they said, we want you to start anchoring Monday through Friday, and nobody's ever done it before. But the whole community really embraced me, and it was a wonderful springboard for moving on to ESPN and eventually CBS.
What about, I mean, you grew up in Howell, New Jersey, and then you went to Nevada, which it wasn't, especially Reno, it's not Vegas. People think of Vegas when they think of Nevada, but even back then it was very different than it is now. What was it like going from, almost the bright lights of the big city to Reno, Nevada?
Well, I really wanted to do it, Mike, if for no other reason than when you grow up on the East Coast, I think we kind of have a personality that lives up to the stereotype. We're fast-paced, we're driven, we know what we want. And I was really interested in seeing what a different part of the country was like. And a lot of people consider Reno an extension of the Bay Area, even though our business is very cutthroat and fast-paced, much as the personality of New Yorkers, a little bit more laid back. And just seeing that part of the country and then moving to Chicago for ESPN and being in the Midwest and being privy to that sort of hospitality, I think, living in all different places has really helped me appreciate our business, but people all over the place.
ESPN, you become the bureau chief of ESPN Chicago right as Michael Jordan and the Bulls are...
Not a bad time, right?
Yeah, not a bad time, right as they're winning. What is it like being in the middle of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the Bulls?
It was madness. And so when ESPN hired me, it was just before my 25th birthday. I'm in Chicago. I don't know any of these guys from a hole in the wall. And one of the first assignments, they said, we want a one-on-one with Michael Jordan. I'm like, okay. So we're at the Berto Center where they practice in Chicago, and I don't know any different. I just walk up to him, I extend my hand, I'm like, hey, Mike, I'm Bonnie, I'm the new chick in town. We're set up over there, need you whenever you have a moment. And he looked at me like, who is this woman? But
Did he do it?
Yes, he did it.
Wow.
Little did I know that in my 3 years there, that was one of only 2 one-on-ones I would get with him, and the last one was right before I left in '98. I didn't realize the exclusive nature, how tough it was to access him. I just assumed because we were ESPN, if you ask somebody to sit down, they do it. I was wrong, but that's okay.
What do you think of this Super Bowl? It's a rematch basically of Super Bowl
Yes.
42. Although some of the players have changed, some have left, and some are new faces. But realistically, the architecture of these two teams are pretty much the same. The Giants still very heavily defensive. Their offense has exploded a little bit. The Patriots are all offense.
Yeah.
With a very, very low-ranked defense, and what the defense is starting to roll. So it's very similar to 2008, and everybody's comparing it, and I hate to compare it, but there's so many ways to compare it, and not many ways to not compare it. So what do you think of?
Well,
of
there's
this
another comparison that a lot of people aren't talking about all that much. The Giants were getting hammered because they had the worst ranked run game during the regular season, and the pass rush didn't really develop until later in the season. Well, a lot of that was because of injuries. Patriots on defense had the very same problem. Andre Waters, their best pass rusher, had 10 sacks. He's down, out for the year. Patrick Chung and Brandon Spikes, safety, linebacker, really important, cogs in the defensive wheel. They missed 6 or 7 games. They're now healthy again. So for as much as the diehard New York fans say, throw the statistics from the regular season out the window because we're healthy now and therefore we are stronger in the areas where we were weak, the Patriots can really say the same thing. And when you look at the defensive effort that they put up against Baltimore, and while Baltimore doesn't have the receivers that the Giants do, New England's defense did a pretty solid job.
Do you think this is going to be a high-scoring game? So many people have said the Giants' offense is amazing, the Patriots' offense is amazing, and then I go, what's the score going to be? And they go 20-17.
The over, I'm not much of a bettor, but I think the over-under, I can't remember if it's in the 40s or the 50s, but it was a relatively
low number.
It was, but reasonable number.
Right.
And I could see, particularly in the second
But that's
half.
the line. They always put the line relatively low because if they don't, then there's too much to lose on either side. It's usually kind of right in the middle of where you would expect it to be.
But if you look at these two teams throughout the season, they are much more second half teams than they are first half teams. And no further evidence do you need that the Giants had, all of these fourth quarter comebacks, and Eli threw 15 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But take the end of the regular season for the Patriots, for example. They were trailing Miami and Buffalo 17-0, 20-0, and so they too had to rally back. So I can conceivably see a point in the game in the second half where they're just scoring drive for drive, going back and forth. And I really think the team who has the last ball possession is the team that's going to win.
Well, it doesn't seem like for fans that would be a bad scenario, a back and forth battle, especially in the second half.
Skip the first half, eat all of your Doritos, and then come back and watch the second half.
And then it would be very much like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So who's your prediction?
I'm awful with prognostication, so I'm not even going to bother trying. But I think from what all of the reading I've done and a lot of the people that I've talked to, that if you put this game on paper, matchup for matchup, particularly if Gronkowski's not healthy, because then you take the double team off him and put him on Aaron Hernandez, focus more on Wes Welker. On paper, Giants win the matchups. But there are a whole bunch of other intangibles that I think are equally, if not more important. One, there's some residual bitterness from having the Giants thwart the perfect season. B, Patriots, a team that very rarely loses at home. Giants went up, beat them in their house earlier this season. C, Tom Brady with his mentality. Seldom do you see him have back-to-back bad games, and he, by his own admission, was abysmal against Baltimore. And overriding all of that, losing Robert Kraft's wife, Myra, before the season. We've seen them wearing the patches with her initials throughout the season. She had a very maternal relationship with a lot of the players. Mr. Kraft is very involved with the players as an owner. And Myra was known for her extraordinary philanthropy, but she was the den mother for a lot of these guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Kraft went in the locker room before the game and implored his team to remember that they decided to dedicate the season to Myra Kraft. And that energy, the passion that comes from that, I think is a pretty important intangible factor.
Do you think that the Giants are overconfident at all?
They're just confident. But I think that reflects us as New Yorkers. I can't remember a time that I've come across a Giants team, players on a Giants team, where they're not confident. And I remember there was earlier in the week when the Patriots had their pep rally, remember, and the New York media jumped on it when Tom Brady said, well, hopefully we'll have more people at the gathering the following week, and we're all like, oh, that's a prediction. It's not a prediction, but any player, if put in the position, asked, do you think you're ready? Who's going to say no? At this point, when you've endured a 4-game win streak, gotten swept by the Redskins, lost to Seattle, got blown out by New Orleans, you're here because of your intestinal fortitude.
Right. And that's true. And this is going to be a great matchup. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but Steve Serby from the New York Post just walked by. He was interviewing Bob Kraft. As we were talking about Bob Kraft, he was walking by interviewing him.
Did Bob Kraft hear us talking about
He
him?
might have. I don't know. So last question for you is about the fans. Who has more fans here? Is it the Patriots or is it the Giants?
They both travel really well.
They do, don't they? But I'll be honest with you, 100% honest, unbiased, I've seen more Giants fans than I have Patriots fans. Now, I'm not getting out that much, but from what I've heard,
you need to get out more.
I do need to get out more, right? From what I've heard, there are more Giants fans.
They're such rabid fans, and you have to remember that the Patriots' history is relatively brief. I mean, the Maras, dating back to Wellington Mara, we are such, as Giants fans, it's so rich in history and tradition, and you've heard, well documented, the wait list for season tickets. Generations and generations and generations of Giants fans. I don't know that I've seen an abundance more Giants fans than I've seen Patriots fans, but if that's the case, I think it has to do with the longevity of the franchise and the success that it's seen.
It's like the Packers. You have to wait 60 years. You get pregnant and you put your kid on the list before they're even born
and then
to get
you're part
Packers
owner
seats.
and you get a certificate and probably don't even get a parking space.
Now, before we let you go, I know
Yes.
you do a million things, ESPN, CBS, all this stuff, great broadcasting, but also Epiphany Chocolate.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
I came across Epiphany Chocolates because Leslie Visser, who's one of my mentors, her brother does a lot of work in marketing, and he knows that I'm a total chocoholic. I'm a workoutaholic, which justifies my ability to be a chocoholic.
Gymnastics when you were a kid, too,
14
right?
years. You're so well researched, Mike.
I got a crack research department.
The crack research department. Good job. So epiphanychocolates.com, handmade, gourmet chocolates, all with fudge or caramel filling, all sorts of fun toppings, crushed cookies and pretzels and nuts and coconut. We're actually doing a promo. If you go onto their website, epiphanychocolates.com, promo code Bonnie B, 30% off. And then next week on my Twitter account, which is at Bonnie Bernstein, we're doing trivia questions, and the trivia winners will get free boxes of chocolate for their Valentine's Day sweethearts. Don't forget.
I'm not going to forget.
11 days until Valentine's Day, men and ladies.
I was going to bring this box to my wife, but I think I'm
you can keep
I'm
it.
going to eat it because I'm starving
What's
and
your
I haven't
wife's
eaten
name?
anything. Jill.
Jill, if Mike comes home with an empty box of chocolates or no chocolates at all, it's because he ate them.
I'm going to buy a new one for Valentine's Day. I'm going to type Bonnie B in the
That's
in the
fine.
window.
All right, Jill, call me.
All right, I'm Michael Artsis for nypost.com. Bonnie, thank you so much. She's
Thanks,
very good, as
Michael.
you can tell, and she gave us a lot of great insight and information. And she'll be here covering the Super Bowl, as are we, the New York Post. So stay with us. We've got lots of Super Bowl coverage here live from Super Bowl 46 on nypost.com. Mark Hale will be with you later, and Steve Serby will be on, and Mark Cannizzaro, and Mike Vaccaro. We got all these great guys.
Cast of thousands.
Cast of thousands of writers. They're all on. So we'll be with you through the Monday after the Super Bowl. I'm Michael Artsis. Stay with us.